What's going on, everybody? My name is Tech, and for the last 15 years, I was the #1 seller of pre-owned men's clothing on eBay. But today, we just landed in Webster, Florida. It's about 5 or 6 hours away from our house. But previous to this, we went to the Orlando flea market and the Plant City flea market, where I found 20 really awesome shirts that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to explain the nuance, show you the tags, show you some context clues that we should be looking for, show you some prices, and just try to give as much education as I possibly can. So that way, when you are out there, you can pick these up. You don't pass by them. You don't leave them out there. So the first one we have is a liquid blue Grateful Dead shirt. And some good keywords for this would be tie-dye. Here's the tag, liquid blue. And you can go right on Google Images and type in all liquid blue tags. They have this white one, which is the oldest one, most sought after. They have kind of a grayish brownish one, which is more of a present day. And then they have the just screen print ones, which is actually present day. So a lot of stuff you're gonna see at the thrift store is gonna have a screen print tag. That's present day. When you start seeing paper tags, maybe it's something to look out for. And some of these tags, every single time you see them, we need to stop what we're doing and we need to investigate them. Liquid blue is one of them. So this is a tie-dye shirt. This is good keywords for this would be carnival, roller coaster. We have some licensing down here, 1993 Grateful Dead merchandising. It has single stitch on the sleeves, has single stitch on the hem, and then again on the back. We'll have more licensing, 1993 Grateful Dead merchandising. And these context clues that we're looking at, the older tag, which we can date the shirt by the tag, the single stitch, and then also the licensing, all are great indicators that this is actually a true, genuine Grateful Dead shirt. And some Grateful Dead shirts will have a screen print liquid blue tag, and they will still say 1993 on the bottom. Why would they say this? Because the graphic is trademarked for 1993 and just reprinted at a later date. So that's why these tags are very important, because everything in conjunction, all signs point to this actually being a true, authentic vintage shirt from 1993. So that's a good one there. I'll put prices next to all of these. Here's another Grateful Dead shirt. This one again, liquid blue tag. And if you look at this shirt, it's gonna have some paint on it, it's gonna have some marks, a couple little holes, but guess what? That doesn't matter. If this was a Tommy Bahama shirt, we'd have big problems in this condition. But you have a concert shirt, you have a Harley shirt, you have a Carhartt shirt, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it can even add to the value. So this one again is liquid blue. This one has the signature of the artist. And this one also has the 1992 Grateful Dead merchandising, licensing, and trademark on the front. And then on the back, we're gonna have the same thing, licensing and trademark there. Again, with the single stitch on the sleeve and the single stitch on the hem. This one, very nice shirt. Next one, we have a Breeders concert shirt. And this one here is on a Fruit of the Loom tag. And down there in between the stripes of the American flag, it says Made in USA. Great indicators. Again, if we go on Google Images and we type in all Fruit of the Loom tags, someone who is very smart, very polite, has given us a graph, a collage, however you want to say, of all vintage Fruit of the Loom tags, where we know this tag was produced in X year to X year. So this shirt is from that time. So Fruit of the Loom, Gildan, Delta, All Style, Hanes, all of those shirts, they make blank shirts that companies buy, they print on them. So this band bought a bunch of Fruit of the Loom blanks that they printed their shirt on, and this shirt has licensing on it, 1993 Breeders, under license to Brockham. Remember Brockham in a little bit, because there's some tags that we're going to show for that. So this one is long sleeve. Long sleeve concert shirts are kind of rare compared to the short sleeve. This one has a single stitch hem. And the licensing is very important, because there's a lot of bands or concert tours that are very, very protective of their brand. Taylor Swift, very protective. Dave Matthews Band is protective. Luke Bryant, they're protective. So they actually hire companies like Red Points, which represent 100 different bands, and they give Veros like it's nobody's business. So if I'm going to list a concert shirt, I take all of my photos and I take a dedicated close-up of the licensing just for my own protection to show that this is a legitimate licensed concert shirt. So this tag, this license, the single stitch, all point to this being an original shirt from the era. So let me explain the difference between single stitch and double stitch. So this one right here, no tag. That could pose a big problem if we don't know what we're looking at. So we can use context clues. Bob Marley, 1991, Bob Marley music. Here's the Bob Marley trademark sign there. This one is single stitch, top. This one is also single stitch on the bottom. It's got tough gong on the back. And the difference between single stitch and double stitch is going to be due to the weight of the cotton. If it is more lightweight, it's going to be single stitch. If it's more heavyweight, like they are today, more present day, that's going to be double stitch. So a good indicator of age is going to be, you know, the feel, the lightness of the shirt, the single stitch, a tag if applicable, and then the licensing here. So this one here is from 1991. It's got the license, it's got the single stitch, does not have a tag, but everything else points to and indicates that this is an original shirt from 1991. And like I say, this stuff is still out there. We found these shirts this weekend, and we're gonna find more tomorrow when we go back to Webster. 4 flea markets in 3 days. That is how we do it here. So here is a Brockham tag. And again, we looked at a shirt that was on a Fruit of the Loom tag, but had a graphic that was under license to Brockham. So here is the Brockham tag. And on the bottom it says Made in USA. And again, Made in USA is a great indicator of age because around the year 2000, 2002, the first exportation of jobs, you're gonna see tags that say Made in Mexico of USA Components, Made in Honduras of USA Components, Made in Jamaica of USA Components. So what they were doing is they were sending down the blank shirts, they were making the shirts in Mexico and then sending them back. After they did the of USA Components, then they just made them in Mexico, made them in Honduras, made them in Jamaica, made them in Haiti, and then they went all the way overseas to China, Thailand, Vietnam, and all the countries that we see today. So the closer it is to America, most often than not, is a good indicator of the age. So we started in America, 70s, 80s, even older, 90s, and then around the year 2000 again, Made in Mexico of USA Components. So they still stayed close to home. Made in the Caribbean islands of USA Components, stayed close to home. And then just Made in Haiti, Made in Jamaica, Made in Honduras, close to home. And then finally, they just went all the way to Asia, how it is now. So this one here is a Paul McCartney on the Brockham tag, Made in USA. Now, whenever you see a Brockham tag, you stop what you're doing. Whenever you see a liquid blue tag, you stop what you're doing. Whenever you see a giant tag, we're gonna come up to those. You stop what you're doing. You investigate it, you look at it, because odds are you're looking at something good. So this is going to be a Paul McCartney. The New World Tour has licensing down here on the side, 1993. Again, single stitch, top, double stitch on the bottom. So this one has double stitch on the hem, single stitch on the top. So you see 1 row of stitching, that's on the sleeve. You see 2 rows of stitching, that's on the hem. And that's okay, that's fine. Sometimes you'll have shirts that are single stitch on the top and the bottom. Sometimes they'll just be single stitch on the top, double stitch on the bottom. There's the back on that one. Here we have a Green Day shirt. This one's from 1995, from the Dookie album. And this one is on a soft tee tag. Again, still Made in USA. We have the license on the front that I would take a dedicated photograph of, 1995. We have the single stitch on the top, and we have the single stitch on the bottom. All those things in combination with the tag, with the timestamp, with the single stitch. This one is a genuine 1995 shirt. Here we have a Lollapalooza 1993 shirt. Lollapalooza was a concert event where a lot of different bands played at. This is a giant tag by TJ's, and there are many iterations of giant tags, and they all correspond with certain years. So here we have a Lollapalooza shirt. single stitch top, single stitch on the bottom. Nice enough to tell us when it was, 1993, Primus, Alice in Chains, Dinosaur Jr. And these bands here, some of them have ridiculous shirts. Dinosaur Jr., ridiculous shirt. Alice in Chains, Primus, Tool, some ridiculous shirts. Very, very valuable for some of those guys. So this is a very nice shirt. Nice fade on it. Concert event, Lollapalooza. Here we have a Beatles on a Techt shirt, made in USA. This one here is single stitch on the sleeve, double stitch on the hem. And you see the difference? 2 rows of stitching versus 1 row of stitching. This one here has licensing 1990, Apple Corps, printed in the USA. That is Apple for the Beatles. This is a Sgt. Pepper's, front and back. We have another Beatles shirt. This is on another nice tag, Hanes Ultra Weight. This one has 1991, Apple again. The graphic belongs to Winterland, which is another good tag to look out for. Here's one for extra credit. This one is Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block on a Winterland tag. And when you see a Winterland tag, stop and pay attention. Sometimes it's good. Most times it's good. So this one here, let's see, 1992 it looks like. This one has the double stitch on the bottom. And this one has the double stitch on the top. So this is a heavier cotton than the Bob Marley or any of these shirts. So one thing that you have to do when you are looking at old black shirts is you got to give them the dry rot test. You pick an inconspicuous spot. Usually they pick on the bottom hem. You give it a tear, you give it a tug, you try to rip it. And if it rips like Hulkamania, it's dry rot. So what does dry rot come from? Dry rot comes from the sulfur in the dye that turns white cotton black. And if you wash it, you worn it, you got no problems. But when it's dead stock, what is dead stock? Dead stock is items that were put on the shelf a long time ago, never sold, put in the back room, and then we find them today. Usually they're brand new. So if it's brand new, never washed, never worn, from this time, it would be dead stock. You would be able to rip this thing like a piece of paper, like Hulkamania, and the shirt is really, after that, pretty much worthless. So you definitely want to give it a dry rot test to items that are dead stock from this era. They'll usually smell like maple syrup. They'll smell a little bit sweet. They'll feel a little bit thinner, like paper, a little scratchier. So that's a Winterland. This one is, the graphic is licensed out to Winterland, 1991 Apple. And this is a Hanes Ultra Weight. That's the front, that's the back. And again, this one was single stitch on the top, single stitch on the bottom. Here's a Violent Femmes concert shirt, Brockham, made in USA. Has the licensing right here. I would do a dedicated close-up. 1992 Violent Femmes, under license to Brockham. We have the single stitch on the top, double stitch on the bottom. No problem at all. Brockham, good tag to look out for. Next up, we have a Beastie Boys Ill Communication shirt, Hanes Beefy Tee. And again, you go right to the Google machine and you type in all Hanes tags. Someone who is very nice. They made the collage for us. We just have to remember it. So here we have a shirt. Again, if you're playing at home, who's the license under? It's a little bit cloudy, a little bit hard to read, but we got to know this means Winterland. We also have a trademark down here, 1994 Beastie Boys. This one here is going to be single stitch top, single stitch on the bottom. Little back, Ill Communicator. Here's another Beastie Boys, and they have different iterations of this one in different settings. Here's the back. Again, if you're playing at home, Winterland graphic. And we have the licensing to Beastie Boys, and this one is a Hanes Ultra Weight, made in USA. Single stitch top, single stitch on the bottom. Next up, we have a Red Hot Chili Peppers, again, a long sleeve one. Long sleeve ones are much more rare. We see this one out there. It's got a hole in the front. We go, you know what? I'm going to pass. Don't pass. This one is from 1990, Red Hot Chili Peppers on the trademark, on a TJ's tag, made in USA. I'll put all the TJ's tags over here. Here we have the single stitch. Great, great, great shirt right here, worth pretty good money. Here we have another tie-dye. This would be an all-over print. This is a Cure shirt, 1992. The tag on this one is going to be liquid blue, the good liquid blue tag. We have licensing down here, 1992, the Cure Brockham collection. So Brockham made the graphic, printed it on liquid blue shirts. No problem at all. Here's the back. More licensing down here. And single stitch top, single stitch on the bottom. And we have some nice ones coming up. I know these ones are nice. Be patient. Got some good ones coming. We have another Cure shirt, 1992 Wish Tour. This one here is on the Brockham tag, made in USA. When you see the Brockham tag, stop what you're doing. We have some licensing down here again. We need a dedicated photograph of that. Single stitch top, double stitch on the bottom, no problem. Here's the back, 1992. And Cure shirts do great. Soundgarden shirts do great. Grateful Dead shirts do great. This is a great lot that we got yesterday and today. So all of these so far we got today. The ones that are coming up next we got yesterday. So this is a Soundgarden shirt. Again, Brockham. This is the back. Licensing down here, 1991, Soundgarden, licensed to Brockham. Single stitch, double stitch. No problem. That's the back. So these ones we got today. These ones we got yesterday. And it's still out there. You just got to get out there early. You got to have the most amount of knowledge and you got to give yourself the most amount of opportunities. Here's a classic. All over print dragon shirt. All over print is highly desirable right now, as are vintage concert shirts. Liquid blue, as always on this shirt. They do make reprints of this shirt, but the reprints are going to have the screen print on it, where this one has the tag that we're looking for. So down here we've got licensing, 1993 to liquid blue. We have single stitch on the top, single stitch on the bottom. We have a very cool liquid blue on the shield. I like how they did that. And then we also have licensing down here again. So this is a very nice shirt, all over print. Very nice graphic on this one. Sometimes they're faded out. This one is very, very, very nice. Here we have an all over print Spider-Man shirt. Web slinger on the back. This one is on a Fruit of the Loom tag, heavy cotton. This one is double stitch top and also double stitch on the bottom. But that's okay. Still a very nice shirt. All over print, front and back. This one here is a Venom all over print shirt. Mega print, you could say. This is on a tall text tag. That's the first one we've seen of these today. And again, they have all the tall text tags on the Google image machine. This one is from 1992. Looks sloppy, but guess what? This is an old shirt, my friend. A lot of these shirts are older than the people that are watching this video. They just slap the paint on it and they send it up the road. On the back, we have Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage. We got the single stitch. And then we got the single stitch down here. Very nice shirt. Very good one. Nice one. This one here is a Mosquito Head shirt. Mosquito Head was an artist out of Texas. On the Hanes tag. This is Janis Joplin. I've sold Bob Marley ones for like 800 to 1,000. An MLK one for over 1,000. A Malcolm X one for I think 1,500. A Marilyn Monroe for like 5 to 7. Great, great, great shirts. They do make fakes of these, so you have to be careful. You have to know what you're looking at. The fakes will usually be way pixelated on the graphic, as if it was like scanned in. They'll always have kind of this heavy paint on it. This here is single stitch on the top. This here is single stitch on the bottom. And he makes them of all kinds of different people. This is the back. And this is a very, very, very nice shirt. Mosquito Head stuff goes crazy, highly collectible, really good stuff. So you know, the stuff is still out there. It's not dead. Today was about 100 degrees, so it is difficult. It's hard. We got out there at, 7 o'clock in the morning, woke up at 4 o'clock. The Orlando flea market is 3 hours from my house. Plant City is 3 or 4 hours from my house. Tomorrow we're going to a flea market that's about 6 hours from my house. So we're staying in hotels. We're getting it done. That's the name of the game. I hope this information provided some value to you. That's all I want to do with my channel, is try to, give as much information as possible. And I hope that you guys can take this information when you're out at the thrift, flea market, garage sale. You can see these shirts, you don't pass them up. And inside of the group, this is stuff that we talk about all the time. I have tutorials and deep dives on vintage, polo, Tommy Hilfiger, jerseys, you name it, we got the deep dives on it. I try to go in there and just, brain dump off the hard drive absolutely as much as I can. So, if you are interested, we have a great community of over 2,500 people that renew every single month. So, they're making money. We have 30 live calls per week led by experts. These people have years of experience. They didn't just start last week. Every single niche you can imagine: antiques, collectibles, media, men's clothing, women's clothing, Poshmark, eBay, Amazon, you name it, we got it. It is a fire hose of information. If you've watched any of the videos, that's what you get here. You get a fire hose of information. There's no okie doke going on. We come out here, we find this stuff, and if someone can guess correct how much these are worth, I know you've seen the comps, but we should have known before we seen the comps. So we found some good stuff. That's the name of the game. I appreciate everybody. I hope you find the video helpful. Thank you very much. Be great.